Hi everybody, Dan Ilman here with some exciting news. DRF Formulator, the gold standard in past performance information, is now free exclusively on DRF Bets. Join DRF Bets with the promo code WINNING. Get a $250 first deposit match bonus, a $10 free bet, and free Formulator already uploaded to your account. Access Formulator's premium features, including sortable trainer stats, race replays, personalized trip notes, and lots more. Free Formulator exclusively on DRF Bets. Dan Ilman, Mike Beer getting set for the 50-cent late pick 4 at Keeneland on Maker's Mark Mile Friday. It starts with race number 7. We're going 5.5 on the turf. These are 3-year-old fillies running for $200,000 in the Limestone Stakes. Here's a peek at the field, and Wesley Ward, boy, he's got some nice turf sprinters. He trains the 2 Her World, the 3 Coffee Maker, the 4 Ruthin. All these horses have credentials.
Yeah, I mean, just about everybody in this field has credentials. So this is a really nice race for some very lightly raced fillies, Dan. As to be expected, they're going 5.5 on the turf. There's a lot of speed in here.
We'll throw up the time form U.S. pace projector. The 9 Fast Corey was a freakishly good debut winner, albeit over the poly track at Turfway Park. She showed blistering early speed in that race. Her World went gate to wire in her one and only start last year. And really the key to the pace could be the 4 Ruthin, who is very, very fast and showed a lot of speed overseas for Ward last spring.
Yeah, I mean, this 9 Fast Corey did have a lot of speed in her only start at Turfway Park. I'll be surprised if she's clear on the lead in this race, though, Dan. Both Wesley Ward fillies, they're just really, really fast.
A horse lacking pace data because she comes from overseas is the 1 Thunder Love, but you get the feeling she would appreciate some hitting up front. She did okay last year, didn't really face the top competition until her last 2 starts. 2 back, they took her off the pace going 5/8. She came with a little bit of a run. Last time out, she was very forward in the Group 1 Cheveley Park Stakes. She was probably overmatched against the field that produced 4 next out group placed horses. She came over for a Breeders' Cup weekend. She was a vet scratch at Del Mar on November the 5th.
Yeah, we'll see what she does here. I mean, she's 30-1 on the morning line, and she ran some good races last year. I mean, she was 0 for 3 on turf. She won her first 2 starts on the poly track over there. She, as you mentioned, Dan, the Group 1 last time, I don't know what her excuse was there. If maybe she was just in too tough, but she was bad that day. 2 back, she ran a lot better than it looked. She had a lot of trouble in that race. She could not get clear in the stretch. And by the time, she got some room to run, it was way too late, but she was making up ground.
The 2 is Her World. Now, Her World only raced once last year. In her career debut, Ward thought enough to run her in the $100,000 Tyro Stakes at Monmouth, a race we're going to show you right now going 5/8 of a mile. She was bet like she couldn't lose. She showed big early speed, and she wins this race very, very easily now. She's obviously had her share of issues. She hasn't raced since then. She returns blinkers off.
Yeah, I'd like to know what the story is with her and what happened. She was super impressive winning first time out against the Colts. Just never gave that field a chance, Dan, and just did it so easily in that race. She worked twice after that win, and then obviously something happened. She went to the sidelines, and now she's back. I don't know what you're going to get from her in here. We'll see if she turns out to be, an improving horse as a 3-year-old. I wouldn't take the 2-1 morning line on her. But I'll be surprised if she turns out to not be any good. She was way too impressive first time out.
Ward's Coffee Maker is yet to win on turf from 4 starts, but this horse was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint, a race we're going to show you right now. And Coffee Maker, going 5/8 of a mile, fell behind early, came with a good solid run to finish 3rd. This is an honest horse. It'll be interesting to see how much he improves from 2 to 3, but the winner of the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, Ward's Twilight Gleaming, is very good. Ran a 88 buyer, went 2nd in the Palisades in her seasonal debut at Keeneland.
Yeah, this horse ran okay in here. This Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint wasn't a race that was run at a wicked pace, Dan. Twilight Gleaming wired the field. This horse was off of it and got to the outside. I thought she ran fine in there. I thought she ran fine 2 starts back when she was 2nd to Averly Jane also over this turf course. She can win in here. She's probably going to be a fair price. I wanted other horses.
Ruthin debuted over this course and distance during the Keeneland Spring Meet, the rare 2-year-old race on turf. Very impressive, just going right to the front. Everything you expect of a Wesley Ward trained first-time starter during the Keeneland Spring Meet. This horse went to Royal Ascot, showed huge speed in the Windsor Castle Stakes, and probably went a little too fast.
Yeah, ran well in that race, though. A huge field in that race. She was still there in deep stretch, and she just couldn't hold on as the favorite. She ran well that day. Another one whose debut was just, super impressive. Had the easiest kind of speed you'll ever see, and had 5 on that field. And she looked like she didn't even know what she was doing in there, Dan. She was very green through the stretch, all over the place, and just never gave that field a chance.
Of the 26 horses she faced in the Windsor Castle, 4 came back to win next out. I'm not sure if that's a good percentage or not. The 5 is Sin City Gal, who won her career debut at the Fairgrounds, going 5.5 furlongs, and she was 47-1 that day. I like that she sat off the pace, came with the run. She got a very nice trip to win, but she was very professional, and it looks like she was privately purchased since that start.
Yeah, agreed. I have nothing to add to that. She was a big price in that race. She'll probably be a big price in here as she comes off of a little bit of a layoff against a really good field.
Naim, you can go back and watch the replay of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint when she was in against the boys and she was in against Coffee Maker. That trip didn't work out. She actually broke pretty sharp under Joel Rosario, and then she kind of just checked off heels in the opening furlong, fell very far back. Joel decided to stay in on the turn. Didn't go very wide, tried to pick his way through in between horses. She was finishing.
Yeah, that was, it just keeps, the more I look at that race, the more I feel like she was just really unlucky not to win that day. I believe you and I talked about it at Del Mar that day because I liked her in the Breeders' Cup. I thought that she was probably best in that race when I went back and watched the replay. And I understand what Joel was doing. Once he wound up last with her on that, around that turn, he had horse. He didn't want to go wide around horses. So he elected to not make a move, stayed in and tried to rally up the inside. And as it turns out, it was just way too late then. She ran a big race in there. And her prior 2 starts, at least over firm turf, sprinting on the grass last year, they were really impressive. She's a major player in here.
She will be kicking strong in the stretch. She should get a better pace scenario than she did in the Breeders' Cup. Lost My Sock is the 7 debut winner at a huge price for Derek Ryan at Aqueduct, going 3/4 of a mile and not badly beaten in her seasonal debut, Mike. Only beaten a length. She's another one that can close late, and she'll be a big price.
Yeah, another horse who's already won at a big price. She'll be a big price again in here. She's facing a very good field, but she's just going to probably sit and make one run in this race.
Talk about closers. Unbridled Mary's a strong one. 2 for 2 in her career in Southern California for John Sadler. Let's watch start number 2. Going down the hill at 6.5 furlongs. First start off the debut win at Del Mar going 5/8. Trip worked out for her in here, Mike. You see she's going to be able to split some horses, but I like how she comes and runs this field down. And the runner-up has some quality. Came back to win a one other than with a 75 buyer. This one has some potential. We'll see if 5.5 against this field's a little bit sharp.
Yeah, I wonder if it will be. I like both of her races, though, Dan. I think this filly has a chance to turn out to be really good, as you mentioned there. She came and got that horse on the lead who wasn't coming back for her necessarily, ran her down, did the same thing in her debut going 5, where it seemed like it took her forever, and she actually shifted in and wound up going to the rail in that race and still got up. She's run well in both of her starts.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of buzz surrounding the 9 Fast Corey, who made her debut in a Turfway Park maiden special weight over the poly track for Brad Cox, had 3 lengths on the field in a blink of an eye, almost 10 heading into the turn, and then just won geared down as much the best. She's obviously stepping up into a faster paced race against better horses, and it'll be interesting to see how that synthetic form translates to turf. The practical jokes thus far, and it might be too early to tell, they haven't been very good on the turf, but this dam was Group 3 placed on the lawn overseas.
Yeah, a lot of pedigree on the dam side here. So we'll see if she handles it. If she handles it, I guess she could contend here. But listen, she's not going to get loose like she did in that Turfway race. I mean, she was fast in that race, and it's not like, she was necessarily rating it either. But when you go back and watch it, I mean, it just felt like she might not have been facing anything at all in that field. And she's facing some really, really good, talented fillies in here on a different surface. I mean, I don't know. Would I be shocked if she turns out to be really good? I wouldn't. But I also wouldn't bet her unless she was some kind of a big price.
Turning back in distance might help the 10 Gunboat. She ran in a 2-turn race last time out, 7.5 to wait a while. We're going to watch that performance right now for Shiggy Yehi. And she showed speed in this race, and she had a clear lead on the backstretch. She holds on okay for third. I think she might be better sprinting. Her race 2 starts back was a good effort going 3/4 of a mile. The problem is turning back in distance, drawing outside all these other speeds. She's not going to get her familiar position up front where she's been in her first 4 starts.
Yeah, it just feels like there's a lot working against her. I think you might be right. At least at this stage of the game, she just might be better going a little bit shorter. But she's been on the lead in all 4 of her starts, and I don't think she can make the lead in here.
She will have to rate and finish against a strong, strong field. Before we get to our selections, please hit that subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel. Have access to all of DRFTV's latest offerings. Here are our top picks, kicking off 50-cent pick 4 at Keeneland on Friday. Mike's going with Derry Naim. Again, strong close. Watch that race in your formulator past performances. Click on the short comment. The video will come up. Just a strong effort. It's going to get some pace to run at. I was just so impressed with her world. I think she gets the jump on your pick, turning for home.
Yeah, I was impressed with her world too. Coming off the long layoff with other speed, though, and she's the morning line favorite. I decided to go in a different direction. I liked all of Derry Naim's races last year, Dan. I'll hope she's ready off the bench here.
6281 for Mike. Her world for me off the layoff. She's already a stakes winner. She's only run once. 2364 for me. It's the Limestone, race 7 at Keeneland on Friday. Best of luck.